Sports creators today aren't just storytellers, they're full-stack production studios powered by artificial intelligence. The tools available now let a single creator do what used to take an entire creative team: sourcing B-roll, animating still images, generating music, cutting scenes, designing motion graphics, and publishing high-impact reels in a single day. In this video, we'll walk through how to create an Instagram reel that highlights the Pwhl. The reel will introduce the league, the energy of the people who attend the Pwhl games, and the potential for one of their top players to have another breakout year. It's a demo story, so we're focused less on the storyline and more about how you leverage AI and content production workflow to create the reel. We're going to create an Instagram reel using our storytelling framework, which you can see below. We want to focus on different AI tools, so we'll focus on the design box in the storytelling framework. We'll specifically show you how to create an Instagram reel, integrating the following AI tools: Artlist to source cinematic B-roll, Midjourney and Runway to design and animate custom images, Suno to create a custom soundtrack built for sports energy, and Adobe, After Effects and Premiere Pro to bring it all together with graphics, beats, and motion. Let's get started. Before touching any tool, you first define the story. A sports reel shouldn't be just random clips and motion graphics. It's a narrative delivered in 10 to 15 seconds. For our demo, we'll use the fast-growing Pwhl and do a spotlight on the Boston Fleet and Susanna Tapani. We'll keep the storyline simple and have 5 beats. The first will focus on the league. The Pwhl is a new and growing league with international players. The second will focus on the city. The Fleet are in a major sports franchise city, which is Boston. The third is the team. The team is a strong and currently at the top of the league. The fourth is the player. Susanna Tapani is one of their point production leaders. And the last is the big question: can she continue with her dominant performance? Artlist is a great tool for sourcing footage, music, sounds, and creating AI images and animations. We mainly use it for sourcing stock footage, images, and music, so we can quickly create the backdrop for a story. For this story, we'll source some footage of Boston and Finland to help set the initial context in the reel. When searching for footage, you don't need prompts. The search is a simple keyword search. For example, Boston skyline, Boston winter, or Turku, Finland. Note that when you're searching for European cities, Artlist will return cities that are similar to, say, Finland. So be sure to check whether the cityscapes are actually the city you're searching for and not just a likeness. We generally use the B-roll clips for setting the scene in a short Instagram reel or background filler across a longer tutorial, so a viewer isn't always looking at a slide. We also use them in short documentaries where we have a voiceover, and the B-roll gives context. After you've searched for and downloaded the clips, review them for the type of look and feel you want to include in your reel. Pick 4 to 6 clips total. In a 10 to 15 second reel, we'll generally use 3 to 4 clips maximum. We typically use a licensed sports photography service, so when we use athletes in our reels, we're not exposing ourselves legally. However, we also like to use Midjourney when designing fun or non-athlete specific images. For this image, we're going to have some fun. We'll create the image of a calm, collect professional woman on one side of the image and the complete opposite of the fan in full context on the other. The end result will be the below. You can see the prompt we used here. You can generate 4 to 8 variations, upscale your favorite, and download it in the highest resolution. At this point, you have the choice of animating the image. Midjourney has the ability to animate your image, and you can use the auto function in the animate image area of the side panel to see how this works. Alternatively, you can import the image into Runway to compare the results. We find that AI is generally pretty decent at animating certain types of images, but oftentimes sports images require editing, touch-up, and upscaling, especially hockey. For example, I'm not too familiar with any hockey players that wear such an odd chin strap like was created in the below AI-generated image. Skylines are in the easier to animate column. For example, Turku is a decent-sized city of roughly 200,000 people. However, we couldn't find a really good video of Turku on Artlist. So for the sake of time, we acquired an image and decided to animate the image using Runway. To animate the image, we uploaded into Runway and entered the following prompt to create a 10-second video. Here's what this would look like in Runway. We then hit the generate button and let Runway do its thing. Assuming the clip comes out the way you want it to, you can use this as more specific context for 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞, giving the viewers some context as to where she comes from. Using the previous prompt, Runway did a great job of a high pan-around shot of the church and surrounding area. You can source music that is pre-created using Artlist, and we do this a lot. But for this demo, we're going to create our own hockey tune. It's actually a ton of fun to create your own soundtrack, and Suno is pretty decent. Our input was pretty simple, which you can see here. The result was a song called Ice on Fire, with a decent beat, catchy lyrics, and generally a fun vibe. Now that you have the ingredients, it's time to start building the beats or segments of your reel. We like to use compositions to create these segments, and then integrate them into a reel using Premiere Pro. A composition is the central workspace where you build, arrange, animate, layer, and preview your video project. The result of a composition is a short video file that has some level of animation in it. Think of it as the container for your final motion design or video sequence. To create a composition, open Adobe After Effects and click Composition and then New Composition. This opens the Composition Settings dialog, where you can configure your composition. Give your composition a name and then click OK. Adobe After Effects lets you combine your B-roll, AI animation, motion graphics, and music into one cohesive sequence. The workflow to create the compositions, build them, and then import them into Premiere Pro is as follows. First, create a new Adobe After Effects project. Secondly, add folders for each of the assets, for example, images, videos, etc. Thirdly, create a composition for each segment, and then add the elements to the composition as layers. You then render each composition when complete, and import the rendered files into Adobe Premiere Pro Produce the final video using the rendered compositions. Note that we don't add the sound or music tracks until we get all of the rendered compositions in Premiere Pro. This may sound a bit complicated, but once you've done this a few times, you'll likely have a baseline project template you work from, and you will also have a pattern of creating your compositions. We'll create one composition for each segment in our storyline. The first is an opening scene of Turku, Finland, and Boston, Massachusetts. The second is the introduction of Boston Fleet and how they're doing in the standings. We're going to spice it up with an excited fan. We'll then focus on 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞 and her point production for the season, so far, and lastly, we'll ask the question, can 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫 continue her streak? And once you added all of the rendered sequences in Adobe Premiere Pro, you organize them, add the music and soundtrack, add any effects and transitions, and complete the build by exporting the video. Congrats! If you followed along, you've just created an Instagram reel using AI. If you want to check out more details on this video, be sure to hit the link below. Also, you can subscribe for a ton of free content, courseware, and resources at datapunkmedia.com. And lastly, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button so you can stay up to date with everything we publish on a regular basis.